Okay, so I've tried several times to upload YouTube videos and they just weren't getting uploaded. So I'm trying again. And so you may see this video. This video may sit in my phone and never exist. We'll see. So I wanted to read, and I actually did my homework. Benji's looking at me like, we know. Come here, you Karen. He looks like such a Karen right now. Anyways, I wanted to read, but I realized, so I have 100 pages left in the 5th Harry Potter, and I left it at work. And I specifically did everything so that I would be done at 8:15 so that I could read until 10:30, because I guarantee from now until 10:30 I could finish it. If not, maybe a little bit before 10:30. Depends on how fast I read. And what do? Leave it at work. And so I wanted to make a video talking about books. First off, I read a book. I read Fear Street. It was awful. That's all you need to know. I've made that video so many times, and it never uploaded to YouTube. So just don't read Party Games Fear Street, because it sucked. That's all I have to say about it. So I decided I wanted to, actually I'm getting uncomfortable. I need to sit down. Anyways, I wanted to make a video about my all-time favorite books, ever. So I picked up a bunch, because I have lots of favorites. And a couple of them I don't own, and we're going to talk about them, and I'm going to rate them, and I'm going to tell you why they're my favorite. And it's not necessarily in any order. I literally just grabbed them. But two that I love that I don't own. First off, To Kill a Mockingbird. That's probably the first book I ever, probably not the first book ever, but one of the very first books that I very, very much enjoyed. Obviously, I love Great Gatsby. I haven't read it in forever, but I do love that book, but I wouldn't necessarily consider it one of my favorites. Oh, I was thinking I read Great Gatsby the same year I read To Kill a Mockingbird, but I don't think I did. I'm getting teachers confused. Whatever. To Kill a Mockingbird will always be one of my favorite books. And Behind the Bedroom Wall. I don't remember if I read that book in elementary or junior high. I know in elementary a bunch of people read it in a certain class, but I didn't have that class. I think I was in the lower English, and that was read in the higher English, so I didn't read it then, but I read it after everyone else did. Will always be one of my top favorite books. Sorry, I'm not even going to talk about To Kill a Mockingbird, because if you don't know what that's about, I can't, well, okay, that's rude, because not everybody has the same education, I guess. I don't want to talk about it. It's good. Just go read it. Anyways, always checking myself. Behind the Bedroom Wall is about the Holocaust. It's about, if I remember correctly, a German family who takes in Jewish people, and they live behind her bedroom wall, and she's kind of trying to understand, because she's like, well, Hitler's saying all this, and we're not supposed to like Jewish people, but then my family does like Jewish people, so it's a very conflicting thing. And you kind of learn how she's dealing with it, and then you kind of see her change her mind. It's so good. I need to reread it. It's so good. Before I Fall, this book, I haven't seen the movie, and I don't know why. Probably because sometimes movies ruin books. And this book I read in high school, and where I was at in my life, I was in a very weird, dark place, and this book just fed to my weird, dark place, and I absolutely loved this. This book is about, let's see, I'll read back. Samantha Kingston has it all: looks, popularity, the perfect boyfriend. Friday, February 12th, should be just another day in her charmed life. Instead, it turns out to be her last. The catch: Samantha still wakes up the next morning. I love this book so much. She basically lives the day over and over again, and she's trying to figure out why. And I believe it's her birthday or it's somebody's birthday or something. I absolutely love this book. I would recommend this book. One of my all-time favorites. Okay, this might be a little controversial. Paper Towns. I love this book. I will always love this book. I read this book my senior year before the movie came out. I think I knew that the movie was coming out, so I read it. And it's kind of funny because I owned this book and then I got rid of it. And then I was sad that I got rid of it, so I rebought it. I don't know. Don't ask me. Oh my gosh. Okay. I love this book. So this book is about this kid, what's his name? Quentin, and her name's Margot, and they're neighbors, and he's basically been in love with her since she moved in. She doesn't really give him the time of day, if I remember. And then one day, she climbs in through his window, they go off, and they have like this crazy night. And then the next day she's missing. And he starts seeing like all these clues that she left for him. I cried at the end of this book. I was so angry. Ow, I hate myself. I cried at the end of the movie. There were so many things that I was so upset with. But I loved it so much. I remember I used to work at a dry cleaners, and this was my senior year, and I was working with this kid. And I wanted to keep reading, but I didn't necessarily. I remember it was like conflicting. Like I was like, I need to finish this book, but I want to, so I made him read it to me. And then, I don't know, like this book, I remember when I was reading it, it was hard to get through. But I think that's because it hurt, I guess, if that makes sense. I don't know. 10 out of 10. Always will be my favorite. Next to All the Boys I've Loved Before. I watched the movie first, and that's when I was like, so I had seen this book so many times, and I was like, that sounds so dumb, whatever. And then the movie came out, and I saw the movie, and I loved the movie, so I was like, I have to read the book. I listened to all 3 of these books, and then I have also read this book a second time on top of that. I could reread this book a million times. I can rewatch the movie a million times. I absolutely love it. It's about this girl named Lara Jean, and basically every time she's in love with the boy, she writes letters, and she doesn't send them, she keeps them, and somehow they all get sent. And one of them's to her sister's boyfriend, but ex-boyfriend. And so life gets messy. And then she has to create, like, she doesn't have to, but she ends up fake dating one of the people she sent the letter to. I'm sure, like, this isn't something new, but for those of you who don't know, love this book. Will always be one of my favorite books, always. Twilight, that's all that needs to be said. I don't care if you hate Twilight, get out of my life. Twilight will always be my all-time. If I was stranded on a desert island and I could only take one thing with me, I would take Twilight. That's all. I'm not even going to explain to you what Twilight is because that's how I feel. Okay, next, Dirty Little Secret. I read this book when I was in high school, and I didn't read when I was in high school. I really didn't. I liked the idea of reading, but I didn't actually do it. But I did, like, this was one of the books that, like, grabbed me, and I read the first 3, I believe there's 6, maybe I read the first 2, I read the first 2, and I think there's 5, and when I was reading it, I remember I was, like, waiting for the 3rd one to come out or something, and then I just never read it. I love this series. I read this series so quickly. It's one of those things where I'm so sad that I know what happens, and I would sell my soul to be able to read this entire series again. I definitely will reread it again sometime. Okay, I have to read the inside. Some secrets shouldn't be kept. Until 3 months ago, everything about 16-year-old Cammie's life had been fairly ordinary, decent grades, an okay relationship with her parents, and a pretty cool part-time job at the art studio downtown. But when Ben, the mysterious new guy, starts junior year at her high school, Camilla's life becomes far from ordinary. Rumored to be somehow responsible for his ex-girlfriend's accidental death, Ben is immediately ostracized by everyone on campus, except for Camilla. She's reluctant to believe the rumors, even when her friends try to convince her otherwise. Instead, she's incredibly drawn to Ben and to his touch, but soon Camilla's receiving eerie phone calls and strange packages with threatening notes. Ben insists she's in danger and that he wants to help, but can he be trusted? She knows he's hiding something, but he's not the only one with a secret. Love this book. Like, oh, I love it. And I own all of them. I keep hitting myself in the face. I own all of them, but I don't own all of them on book. Some are on my Kindle. Anyways, ooh, love it. This book broke my... I felt my existence shatter when this book was over. And I don't care how dramatic that sounds. It's true. Oh my goodness, I love this book. This book is basically about like all these rich people and they own an island. And it's like about her and her cousins, and she like talks about growing up, and there was like an accident that happened, but she can't remember it, and like her memory's like super foggy, and but her memories start coming back to her. Oh, I remember I finished this book, and I remember I sat there and I was like, you know when you just sit in silence after you read a book and you're like, my heart is in a million pieces and I am destroyed. That's how I feel about this book. And I loved every second of it. Also, like some books, randomly I'll just decide, like, I'm going to highlight my favorite quotes. I don't do it to every book, but I do it to a lot. And this was one of them. Love that book. Oh, One Day in December. Oh, my heavenly days. I read this book last December, and it is my all-time favorite Christmas book. I don't really read Christmas books, so I guess I can't really say anything. But, look, Reese Witherspoon's book club. I love this book. So this book is about this girl named Laurie, and she doesn't believe in love at first sight. But she, like, has this moment where she, like, sees somebody. It says, but through a mist-up bus window one snowy December day, she sees a man who she knows is instantly the one. Their eyes meet, there's a moment of pure magic, and then her bus drives away. Certain they're fated to find each other again, Laurie spends a year scamming every bus stop and cafe in London for him, but she doesn't find him, at least not when it matters. Instead, they reunite at a Christmas party when her best friend Sarah giddily introduces her new boyfriend to Laurie. It's Jack, the man from the bus. It would be. This is another book that, like, broke my heart, but then pieced it back together, but then broke it again. And then pieced it back together. Like, my heart kept breaking over and over again. I love this book. Like, literally love it. And it's over the span of 10 years. And it follows Laurie, Sarah, and Jack. It says it's 10 years of friendship, heartbreak, missed opportunities, roads not taken, and destinies reconsidered. I love this book. I'll probably reread this book soon-ish. We'll see. I have some other books in mind, but 10 out of 10 would recommend that book. Okay, this book I've already talked about, but I just have to reiterate. I Killed Zoe Spanos. Such a good book. So twisty. Like, it would, like, twist, and then it would twist again. And there's a whole video on this. Actually, is there? I might have deleted it. I don't know. I'm pretty sure there's a whole video of me talking about just this book somewhere, so you gotta find it. I have some of my books have these cute like that. My husband got it for me last Christmas. And it says, like, the day I started reading it, the day I finished it. Okay, this is how much I loved this book. I started reading it on December 29th, and I finished it on January 1st. Like, read it in 4 days. That doesn't seem right. It must have been right, though, I guess. Okay, anyways. I'm not going to talk anymore about this book because I have a whole video on it. Read it. And my last... Oh, I grabbed the wrong book. Whatever. It's the same series, but... Last but not least. This is probably... You know what? This book, I'm going to introduce it so well. This will forever be my favorite book. There will be no book that will ever triumph this book, because this was the first book that I read. Maybe it's not the first book that I ever read, because obviously I read in school and stuff, but like, how do I describe it? You're going to laugh when you find out what the book is. Because I know I read Behind the Bedroom Wall first, and that will always be in my top. This is just number one book of all time. All time. Nothing will ever become above this book. And if it does, you will know. But I don't think anything will. And this is the second one. I didn't even grab the first one. Are you ready? Dun, dun. I feel like I need a drum roll. Benji, drum roll, please. He's like, can you stop? The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. This is the second one, obviously. For some reason, I thought purple one was the first one. Whatever. No book will ever top The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. I love that book. So sorry. I love that book. I love that movie. I cry every single time I read the book. I love it. It is so, like, friendship and sisterhood and, like, not even that, though. It's, like, has, like, love and heartbreak and tragedy and I don't know. I will forever love The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants more than I will love any other book. And even though this is the second one, I haven't read the whole series. I'm really weird. Like, when it's, like, gloomy and dark outside, I want to read, like, mystery and thriller and scary. And then when it's, like, sunny, then I want to read, like, love and romance. I feel like I go through phases where I, like, crave, like, okay, I'm craving mystery. I need to read a mystery. Or I'm craving a romance. I need to read a romance. And, like, right now, I love The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, but it's not the vibe I'm trying to have right now. So eventually I will read all the books. I own all of them, but I have not read all of them. I've actually only read the first two. And it was so long ago that if I were to read it, I would want to reread the first two before I read the third one. Anyways, those are my all-time top favorite books that I've ever read. Also, I feel like Harry Potter should be on that list too. I don't know why I didn't even think of that, because I'm reading the fourth one right now. I think so far, even though I'm almost done with the fourth one, the second one is still my favorite, which is interesting because the third movie is my favorite movie. Actually, that's not even true. I don't know why, but I love the Half-Blood Prince. That's like, I don't know why. Okay, sorry, now I'm talking about Harry Potter. Anyways, I'm just going to add, there's my shoe. Wondering where that went. Is the other one under there too? No? What the heck? Alright, anyways. Those are my all-time favorite books of all time. My favorite books of all time. I'm having a stroke. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you've read any of them. And if you liked them or didn't like them. If you didn't like them, get it out of here. No, I'm just kidding. Let me know what your favorite books of all time are. Or just your favorite book of all time. Your number one. What is it? I would love to know. And I'm sure as I keep reading, this list will just keep getting longer and longer. Anyways, If you liked this video, if you made it this far, make sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you later.